Morning, back for another episode on the Sedan, and this time we're putting her back together. So, let's crack on. Cue the intro. Right, so the Sedan is officially back from paint spraying. So, as you can see, she's got a hell of a gorgeous shine on her. So she's just been machine polished, bonnet's got to be finished off, and we've got the boot to finish off this weekend coming. So I'm actually in between night shifts at the moment, but I've got the car back, so I can try and stay on schedule and start piecing her back together in between my night shifts. Right, so first things first, I've got to get the windows back in, got to get all the rubbers in and everything like that. So obviously the glass is still hanging in the bottom of the doors, but the rubbers, stuff like that, have got to go back in. Before I can do that, I need to put these weather strips back on. So in case Harry's watching, I have gingerly put them on the roof. There's no scratches on the roof after your hard work machine polishing her. But, so what I've done is I've just mask and taped a nice straight line along there, where I should be able to meet up the tops of the weather strips, and hopefully they just fall straight into place. So I have just gone over with a cloth and I've just removed any dust, any residual grease on the surface with a degreaser, and now I will attempt to stick them on and we'll see how good my vinyl, well, I say my vinyl wrapping skills, but it's a glorified sticker, so we'll see if I can get it on straight. That's now those weather strips actually secured on, so texture on them absolutely lovely. Little bit of a pitter to put on, so just up in the top corner there, don't know if you can see, it's got an ever so slight fold on it. I don't know if I can chase that out with a little bit of heat later on, but I'm hoping maybe the door seal will cover just that little tiny bit up. But apart from that, go on perfect. So obviously I mask and tape that line across there to make sure the line was dead straight, and then just followed it down. The only thing I did find is that this one, maybe I've sat it slightly too far back, slightly overlaps the hole, but I can run Stanley blade in there, that shouldn't be an issue. And I just had to cut a little bit of the tail off, but of course the seal which comes along the bottom of the window there will cover all this as well. So yeah, overall I'm actually quite chuffed with them. So I'll have a quick look and then I'll get back to you who these are actually supplied by. Right, so just covering up my address there, they are supplied by Vehicle Decals UK, so they actually do a 5-door and a 3-door set full of 306s, which is great because you can't buy these anymore from anywhere else. So, I mean, they're a lot more textured than what OEM ones are, but to be fair, I quite like that. That's in upkeep with the actual bump strips which go back on the doors at the bottom. I keep catching myself looking at the reflection on the car now as well. Everywhere I move around it, you can see it picking up reflections everywhere. And considering this is pretty dull light in this unit, yeah, I'm well happy with this car at the moment. Can't actually believe it's my car. It's nice to have it all one shade of white, actually shiny, presentable, and once I get the dimmer wheels back on, hopefully this will absolutely pop. But right, so we've got to do door strips this side, do the weather strips this side, and then I will start putting the doors back together on the front. Right, that's now those weather strips on all sides, so that's taken a good hour to do, but we're there now. So now I've got to start going back through the door, trying to do that without shaking the glass too much. But where do I begin? I suppose I've got window rubbers to go in first. Then I've got the external weather strip along there, window strip, whatever you want to call it. And I've got to start assembling the door cards back up, wing mirrors in, stuff like that. I actually can't remember how much of this door I disconnected as well. Like you can see in here, none of this mechanism for the handle is put in properly. I did try to get the door handle out for spraying, but it proved to be an absolute wanker, to be honest. So they ended up staying in, and luckily he masked and he managed to paint it all around with the door handle still in. But needless to say, I still need to connect all these things back up. So again, I'm going to go away and I'm going to carry on plodding on. I've not actually got long left until I need to go in for my night shift tonight, so I've got about another hour to play with. So yeah, I'll start by chucking the channel and rubber in around the top of the door. I'll make sure the window is still in its runner, bring it in, and then I'll probably do the window scraper, or I'm really not sure what to call it, in at the bottom with the new clips I managed to source to retain it in. So let's crack on again. So I've got the window rubbers in now, and I've got the, whatever you want to call it, scraper strip back in. Had some brand new tabs for them. Tabs, fixins, whatever you want to call them. I mean, these are getting like rock and horse shit to find now. So luckily, one of the chaps on the 306 pages had a small stash of them. So I've actually grabbed more than I needed. So I had all brand new ones for this. And then of course, I've got enough left over to do the estate later on. But, so, scraper strip in. Obviously, weather strip stuck on. Yeah, that scraper there. So all this internal rubber's on now, so the window actually guides itself back up properly as it should do. Internal rubber, I can't remember phase 3's having this, phase 2, 3's. I don't know if this rubber here is only a phase 1 thing, but I can't find the one for that door, so I'm hoping it might still be attached to one of the door cards in the back. But that'll be a problem to solve another day. My next step with all this is, so I've got to start coming in here. I've got to put all the door lock back in, reassemble all the internal bars and everything for the handles, for the locking system, and then hopefully that should be door card going back on this one. Obviously got the wing mirrors to put on as well. So frustratingly, it doesn't feel like I've achieved too much today, but you've got to remember I've only had sort of 2 hours spare in between what is going to be my night shift tonight. Going to have to go home, have something to eat. I'll have a quick nap before I go in for my 12-hour shift. And then I'm probably looking to be back down here again tomorrow in between shifts, just to keep nibbling this away. So I've now got 2 weeks left to get all that back together and complete. So I'm really up against the clock. There's still so much to do. It's not only just a case of like reassembling all these panels on. I've still got the engine, which has got to be tuned up later on. At the moment, yes, in the previous video, she did start up straight away, but there was a big old puff of white smoke. It was either the oil which I had put into the fuel pump during actually building it, mainly to keep things lubricated and to prevent a dry startup. But yeah, so the puff of white could have been the oil from the pump. I think more likely I've set the pump too retarded, because now I'm on an 11mm head. I tried to compensate that a little bit, and yeah, so I might have the timing to still fiddle with. A frustrating thing about fiddling with the timing, so give me 2 seconds to cut this video off. Okay, well, I was hoping to show you in the bay there, but the lads have been kind enough that when they've been spraying, doing the polishing and mopping, they have actually covered my engine over to try and keep it clean. So big thank you to them anyway, and I'm not going to disturb this because the bonnet still needs to be done. So we'll have to talk about the point I was going to make instead. So with the engine on that, now how I've done that top boost pipe, it makes it an absolute pain in the arse to be able to tune it up. When I say it makes it a pain in the arse, what I mean is the top boost pipe, which is coming straight over, it literally backs onto the rear end of the pump, so you can no longer get a 13mm spanner in there to do any form of max fuel adjustment on the screw. It's going to make altering the time in advance more difficult and stuff like that. Officially, the easiest way of doing it will be to actually have the top boost pipe off. Again, I've made it a little bit difficult for myself because I've made that top boost pipe one piece, and that's one piece all the way from the manifold down to the intercooler through the front of the slam panel. So that's going to bite me in the ass big styly. It'll look good if I can leave it as one piece, because everyone loves the look of a hard pipe, right? But it's going to make tuning more difficult. So I'm going to go away, I'll have a think about it. I might end up chucking that top boost pipe back on the bandsaw, cutting it off in a nice tactical position where I can put a silicone in, and then I can remove a section of it for when I do actually need to alter that pump. Again, in theory, once it's set up, I shouldn't need to keep altering it. So do I just suck it up and get on with it? I don't know. I'm going to go away and have a think about that. But for today, yeah, this is as far as I've pretty much got. I'll come back down tomorrow. I'll try and get some more bits on. See you in the next clip. Right, so back again. This is day number 2 for me in between my night shifts. You can probably tell by the bags. But we've got to crack on with her, so no time like the present. So I'm not going to make today's plan too taxing. Gonna try and start getting the door cards back on, reassemble all the handle mechanism in there, and get the door locks back in, and we'll just see how we go, really. Got a pile of bits down there. Oh, I've actually got some of my paint sprayers tools in there too, so I need to remember to give them back to him. But yeah, so we'll try and get this door card on, and then yeah, we'll hop over to the other side, and hopefully that might be the front doors complete today. Okay, so I got a little bit carried away on this side, and I've literally just chucked the door card on as quick as that. I think that's probably taken me about half an hour, 40 minutes of fiddling. That's just finessing all the little pieces and trims back in, as well as that, getting this blasted door lock to work again. So I had an issue with the car before I sent it in for paint, where the locking mechanism in there likes to jam up every now and again. Could usually fiddle it by going around to the passenger side and locking it, undoing it that side, because it then pops for central locking and it makes it work again. Wasn't going to have it today, so had to do a little bit of fiddling. Don't actually know if I fixed it permanently, but so this side, all I've got left to go in. Got my speaker, got the speaker grill down there, and that should be the inside of the door complete. Got my Team Hiko wind deflectors to go back in, but I'm going to end up ordering a new pair because one of them's got slightly damaged, so I'll put a new pair in. That's no biggie. But because I rushed the other door out, I didn't really film and show anyone sort of what's going on with these lock barrels. So I'll get the torch in there, and you'll just be able to see, like, I'll try and shine the light actually on it. So just in front of the cable there is the back end of the lock barrel, and you'll see that there's a clip, it's like a big C clip, which I've pushed it in from this way. Now traditionally it should be pushed in from this side, and it's actually got like a retaining screw thread on it. So when you come to remove that clip, there should be a bung in there. You pop the bung out, you put a bolt in, and you actually wind the clip back on itself, and you sort of back hammer and pull the clip off. I don't like doing it like that, so I've put the clip in from the other side. Never had an issue with it in the past. Hopefully I don't have an issue with it in the future. But so I've got the remainder of this door now to put back together. Got the handle and everything working. Yeah, we're just still nibbling away at bits. So time-wise, with what it's taken me to actually get down here this afternoon, takes me about a 10-20 minute drive. I've literally only got about maybe 20 minutes left I can give the car before I've got to go home again, have a shower, have a nap, and then get ready for work. So, slow process. But every day I can nibble something like this off. It's a little less to have to do at the weekend, so granted, we're heading in the right direction still. But yeah, right, I'm probably going to cut this one off for today. I'm going to have a little bit more of a fiddle with that other door over there, and I'll see how much more I can do before I actually pull the plug on today and go home. But yeah, so Next clip will be day number 3, in between night shifts again. Well, we've now ended up 2 days later. We're supposed to come down yesterday. It didn't happen. I just ended up having a complete and total burnout in between night shifts. So, finished at 6 AM this morning. It's now Friday. Had about 2-3 hours sleep and got up to come down here and crack on again. So, right, where did we leave off? Got the 2 rear doors to now reassemble. I've got the pillars in the back of the van, which go in between. They've all been vinyl wrapped and everything, so sweet. Let's crack on again. Just a quick one, how to put this pillar back in. So literally it is 1 screw up in the top there, 1 screw hidden just down in there. So to actually get access to them, you do have to remove the outer window rubber all the way around the frame, but then that is literally how you replace these quarter lights. So the quarter light window, we'll go down to the other side, literally just slide straight in. So it'll come out with the seal like that, and try not to scratch the paintwork. You literally just pop them. I say pop them, trying to do this one-handed is a bit of a pain, but yeah, you get the idea. You just push it literally straight in that way, and that's the rear quarter light window in. Right, so I'm just having a quick 2-second breather. Ended up on a bit of a roll, so I just cracked on rather than filming. So, ignore the dog in the background. I'll quickly flip the camera around and I'll show you what I've been up to. Right, so obviously both rear windows are now in, and we've got all the door cards and everything reassembled. So I haven't put my winder back on yet because I can't find the little circle disc this side, so I will have a dig and a hunt for that, but other side's complete. I just can't open the door that side because numpty popped the lock down before closing it. So this side had a couple of issues with it. So this rubber just here, you can see it's sort of rolled and damaged at some point rolling the window up. The rubber has got caught and it's actually gone under the pillar. So, well, yeah, plain and simple, I need a new one later on. So if anyone's got a 5-door and a rear rubber, hook them fella up. Unfortunately, my scrap vehicle out there went to pull the rubber out and it actually split up in the top corner, which I was bummed out about and kind of refused to pick any more bits off the estate at the moment. So, rolling with the punches. Both rear doors are now done. Obviously I've still got the bump strips on the exteriors to put on, but I'm trying to hold off doing that until like absolute last minute. So I've started debagging the engine slightly so I can actually get on the front end and start doing what I need to do down here. So earlier I mentioned about the access on the fuel pump and everything. So this is what I was on about with the top boost hose. As you can see, there's like no access in there anywhere to get to my max fuel screw now, so I don't really know what to do about that. The other issue I've also made, because I was trying to hide as much silicone as possible, I've cut this one a little far too back. So it's back here in line with the radiator, and the issue is I obviously can't get to it without the headlight out now. So this is where I was talking about potentially making a tactical cut somewhere, like down here or something, somewhere where I can actually hide the silicone as well, and potentially just put another silicone in there, bead the pipe up, so I've got the accessibility to take this top section off to then get to the fuel pump to tune it. Again, is it going a bit overkill? Maybe, because once this fuel pump is set, I shouldn't really have to be fiddling with it again. But other bits and pieces, just drilled the slam panel to drop this in. This is just one of the top braces. when the intercooler was in the estate, I actually only ever ran it 2 bolts at the bottom, 1 in this top corner, because the boost pipes used to hold it so rigidly, and the whole setup is solid. So to be fair, gonna leave this one off as well. Just haven't got the time to keep making bits and pieces. Next, I've got to connect all the bonnet latch and everything back up, get the bonnet latch on the front here once again, and then I guess I'm going to start putting the headlights in, get the grille back on, and yeah, start making it look like a car again. That's now the front end and the headlights back in. So, had a little bit of a fidget around for some unknown reason. This headlight and the hockey stick did not want to sit right. The headlight was jutted back, the hockey stick was forward, despite light fitment in the wing and everything being okay. So I've had to do a little bit of a naughty. This corner down here on the headlight is now spaced out on penny washers. I've got a feeling I might have bent this slam panel when I've had it out, sitting it up, or there's just something which ain't quite right there, but for now that'll do. But yeah, everything's white, nice crisp black slam panel again. I've got to admit, makes me wish I had sprayed the engine bay now, but it's a bit late. Just going to close the bonnet. I'm actually intrigued to see what it actually looks like with everything down. Right, so obviously bonnet's now closed. So we'll ignore the fact she's dull. She's due to be machine polished tomorrow. She's just been cut for the moment, ready to be polished, and we'll ignore my oily fingerprint there. I'll get told off for that. But lovely clean white grille. Fitment looks pretty spot on. The only thing I'm sat here thinking and wondering is, do I actually put the Talbot stripes back on? It's always been sort of an iconic thing to me, but at the moment I'm liking how crisp and clean the car's looking. I've obviously got the Talbot stripes on the badge itself, but it's like having these wings debadged, and I keep coming back to and I keep looking at the rear end as well. Like, it looks so much cleaner with no badges anywhere. Don't really know what to do about that. I've got all brand spanking new OEM badges for the rear. I have got the brand new stripes sat on the driver's side, so I could put all new decals on, but I'm really torn what to do about that. I kind of like it without at the moment. So I think the only way to know is I'll get the whole car done first, and then I can decide what sort of stickers are going to go back on it, what badges. But yeah, my genuine thoughts on that is just keep it clean. I mean, even these FCS, the old French car show stickers, I've collected them over the years and everything. Same as the PSC UK, and if anyone even remembers the day of French Car Expo, collected them, but I just don't know if the car would look so much cleaner without all of that in the window. But yeah, right. So for now, that's me pretty much as far as I can go on the bodywork until the bits and pieces get machine polished on it tomorrow. So I've got just up there on top of the estate, I've got the side skirts to go back on. I've got all new, well, I say all new, I've got cleaner black plastic side trims to go on and everything, but there's still little bits of machine polishing to be done by Harry, who sprayed her, so I'll have to hold off putting the other bits on for a second. Not only that, I've still got the fuel line under the other side to replace, still got front suspension to fiddle with, and I'll tell you what, in fact, let's go dig that out. So this is the front suspension of choice, BC coilovers. So I've had to do a little bit of farting around with this to get these to fit properly. Let's just dig some of this out of the box. So you can see that's one assembled up coilover cover on it and everything. So I want to try and keep these looking nice and pretty for a little while. Oh. Right, so yeah, the reason I went for these is because the lower half. So traditional coilover, you lower it on the lock ring under the spring. Obviously you drop the spring down lower, you lose shock absorber, travel distance, whatever you want to call it, and it rides like a bag of shit. Now the reason I like these BC ones is because you actually adjust the ride height at the bottom, so the whole leg screws down into the base. The base will actually unscrew off completely separate, so don't know if you can see in there, but that literally threads into that lower half of the leg, which means as we go lower, we're not changing the spring rate, we're not losing any length in the shock absorber, and yeah, all's gravy. The only issue I had with these, so usually these directly fit onto standard strut top bearings. As you can see in there, that's not standard strut top bearing. So because I need the camber adjustment, go back to the car quickly. Camber adjustment, mainly because my wheels I run are so wide that I have to knock on like 2 degrees of camber just to keep the tyre within legal limits within the wing. And yeah, so the current issue with the Spacs at the moment, there's no thrust bearing on top of the spring. So going lock to lock, you can hear the spring snagging up and bonging. So the remedy for that is these new legs. I went out and BC sell these top plates separately. So I've got a thrust bearing in the top there, which is what that pad is. Can't really zoom in. And then I can put my camber adjustable top mount back on. The only other issue with this was the nut for the top was then not long enough. So I've had to have new nuts machined, and I've then finished them off with this chemical blackening coat, which is supposed to be anti-corrosion or corrosion inhibitor. So we'll actually see if that finish lasts. There we go. Now we can actually zoom in. But yeah, so that's everything all assembled, ready to go. Just got to chuck these in and then edit the ride height accordingly. So that should hopefully stop my spring from bonging, going lock to lock, and should actually give me a bit more height adjustment, because at the moment I am at the limits of what the Spacs RSX will adjust to. Right, so I'm going to call it that for one day. Got a couple more bits and pieces to finish off, but I'm not going to film that tomorrow, mainly because I've got the paint sprayer Harry back down just to finish off. He's got to machine polish the bonnet, and then he's got to do the boot lid as well, so I don't want to be disturbing him while he's cracking on doing bits and pieces. There's also the front bumper and the rear bumper to be sprayed, so all the time I hold him up is time he can't then get on. But I'm hopefully going to beat him down here tomorrow morning, and then I can get my coilovers on, hopefully get the side skirts on, and if I can work around him without disturbing him too much, I'm going to try and get that fuel pipe, which is on the rear tank, try and get that sorted out. Apart from that, I think we're in a pretty good place right now. So I've obviously still got the engine to set up, still got fluids to bleed and stuff like that. Kind of hoping I haven't made a bit of a boob as well. Drilling that front mount intercooler bracket on. Of course I slipped with the drill, didn't I? And I've dinged the radiator, so I've cut the fins back. I tell you what, I'll drop the picture in here now. So yeah, as you can see, I've cut the fins back to check that bit of the radiator, what the fuck would you call it, passageway, vein, yeah, you get the idea. Dinged it with the drill bit pulled itself in through the slam panel, and of course I didn't put nothing behind it, so I just went straight through. Shitting pants. I've cut the fins back just to make sure it ain't going to leak. shouldn't actually hurt her too much, to be honest. You can't tell it's been done once everything's back on the front, so I will leave it as that, unless it leaks. Then I've got other problems, but it looks like it's only dented the alley pipe, so got lucky there. But yeah, so engine's got to be set up and stuff like that. Yeah, then hopefully we're there. So I've got the Complimated TH. I might load them up tomorrow. Might see some photos on my social media if I do load them up and get them test fitted. Apart from that, well, I suppose there's the tracking to be done as well, so it's got to be tracked up too. Sorry about that, just caught a mate sneaking up on me into the unit, so he's now gone. Yeah, so the tracking's got to be done and a couple of other bits and pieces. But for now, for this video, that is going to be it. So, yeah, as per normal, cheers for watching, guys, and I will catch you later. Hopefully, the next time you see this, she will actually be driving, so see you later.